I thought for this week's podcast episode, we could play a little game of worth it, not worth it, of things that happened to me on Royal Caribbean's Legend of the Seas. So basically, I've got a list of things that I paid for, mostly, if not all of them, that I paid for that were worth it or not worth it. That's how the game works. Number one, worth it. And that was upgrading to a lay flat seat. When you fly internationally, or you're just flying more than about 6 hours or so, like the value of an lay flat seat really becomes apparent. I've flown to Europe 3 times this year. The first time I had a lay flat seat. The second time I only did premium economy, so no lay flat seat, just like a regular seat with a little more legroom. And then this time again, I did a lay flat seat. For the first time ever, I actually slept on my flights. The one going there, I think I slept for like 2 or 3 hours, which I was astounded by. In fact, this is my first time flying in a lay flat seat on JetBlue. And while I'm not an expert on airlines and all that, I was really impressed by the lay flat experience in JetBlue, which by the way is, it's a low cost carrier. But they do have, and they fly narrow body planes, which are not, they're basically one aisle instead of 2 aisles. And I got to say, I was very impressed by the product. And maybe it's because I slept so much on that kind of a flight. But when you can sleep for 2 or 3 hours out of a 7, 8 hour flight, it makes the flight seem like, time travel. It's amazing. Now, obviously, this costs a lot of money to do lay flat seats, and airfare has only gotten way more expensive. So this isn't like the chances of it coming back down are slim to none at this point. I would say that if you're going to do a lay flat seat upgrade, if at all possible, this is a great way to use your credit card points. If you know you have a cruise coming up in Europe, save your points. Try to save as many points as you can so you can redeem them either for the airfare itself or an upgrade option if that's available for you, but really, or even open a new credit card with the airline you're flying so you can get a bunch of points up front. And you know it makes a difference. I mean, even if you don't sleep on the way back, I think I slept for about, maybe let's call it an hour for easy math, but the ability to lay down and stretch out as much as you possibly can. These are not like giant beds. They're more like, they feel like coffins, quite frankly, but at least you're laying down. It makes a difference. I mean, it really truly does, but they are super expensive. However, I really do feel like it was worth it. Number two, not worth it, was my balcony cabin. So I booked a balcony cabin on Legend of the Seas for my 7 night cruise, and I booked this cruise, a million years ago when it first became available, and I booked a balcony cabin as a default. The truth was, and this kind of piggybacks on the topic I had in our YouTube video that came out this week as well about how hot it was and miserable it was in Europe, was that it was a complete waste of money. I mean, because it was so warm, even out to sea in which you actually have air movement because the ship is literally moving, I just found like it was a complete waste of money. Now, you make the argument, okay, Matt, you're by yourself. I'm not sure how much of a balcony is useful in that situation. Even if my wife was there with me, I mean, the truth is I like having a balcony. It's nice having the views out of it, but I rarely used it. And on a ship like Legend, which costs a pretty penny to get on board, there's no doubt in my mind that I would have been happier with an inside cabin and would have saved a lot more money. Like in a lot of cases, when I do the old should I book an inside cabin or a balcony thing, in many cases I'm kind of forcing my hand one way or another simply to try it out. In this scenario, I truly believe I was been better off with a inside cabin. I mean, I spent like 2 minutes outside. At the last day, to be fair, it actually wasn't so bad. It was we were out at sea a little bit, and it was like, oh, this is not unbearable. I can stand outside on my balcony. And so I sat there for like, half an hour maybe, and I was checking on my phone. But that's really not a way to justify the value of a balcony. I think I could have easily done maybe even an ocean view cabin that would allow natural light. That's the biggest problem when you go to an inside room, is you just lose out on the natural light to know what time of day it is. That's like the biggest thing. I really don't care about necessarily having a view. There are no views. That's the other really big reason why I thought a balcony wasn't worth it. It's not Alaska. It's not a cruise where you're seeing a lot from your balcony. I think every single port, for whatever the way that the luck went, my room faced out to the ocean. There was nothing to see. So that's like number one. Number two, whenever we sailed anywhere, we were immediately out to sea. So this wasn't scenic. I wasn't passing by giant mountains, fjords, old buildings, whatever. I mean, this was just a very not much to look at, quite frankly. So if I'd gone with an ocean view cabin, and I have no idea how much I could have saved, but I'm willing to bet it would, even if it was $100, it would have been worth it. I know it's more than that because this is Legend, brand new ship. I'm sure it was more than that. But if I'm going to do a European cruise, especially in the summertime again, I probably could, and I need to like remember this one, not book a balcony cabin, just go for an inside because it's just really not worth it. I mean, I like the natural light. It's nice to be able to have that little extra space. You could say, well, what about an infinite balcony cabin? That's a good point because then I would have been able to enjoy the view with the reclaimed space. Just keep the window closed the whole time. I still think I would have been fine saving all that money and simply moving down to like an inside room. I'm certain it would have been fine. Not to mention, considering how hot it was, it would have made my room even colder. Although on a brand new ship, you have no issues with air conditioning, even when it's really warm outside. So I don't want to scare anybody with that. Number 3, worth it, was the 3-night dining package. So Icon class ships have a lot of good included restaurants. There is Base Camp, Aquadome Market, Windjammer. Those 3 alone, you could eat at almost every day and be pretty happy. Plus, you have Park Cafe, Pearl Cafe, Sorrento's. There's a lot of good choices there. I don't think you need a dining package. I certainly don't think an unlimited dining package is necessary at all. But the 3-night package was exactly perfect for me. Because inevitably, there are certain evenings in which, the main dining room menu doesn't really jive with me, and I need a break from the Windjammer. Like, I like the Windjammer, but it definitely feels like a lot of the food leaves the same, I don't say taste in your mouth. Again, I'm not trying to make it seem, it's not bad. It's just like Windjammer food becomes more, it tends to run into each other. Like they're more of the same. As I certainly, like I'll go in there. It's not my own fault also. I go in there and I go to the Asian stir fry station, or I go to the Indian curry area, or wherever. I tend to eat a lot of the same food anyways. That's on me. But anyway, my point was, it was really nice having a 3 nights of the cruise in which I go to a restaurant, especially a restaurant. And I chose Izumi Sushi. Utterly fantastic. Amazing. I went to Giovanni's. And it was funny. We were there on the day of Rome. And my reservation was at 5:45, I believe. And I think all aboard was like 7:30 or something. And when I say I was the only person in the restaurant, I mean, there was not a single soul in that restaurant. Not one person. Obviously, maybe because, I don't know, we were in Italy, number one. Number two, there were still a couple hours left in the day, but it's kind of weird. But the food is great. I mean, chicken parmesan, the margarita pizza, you can never go wrong with that at Giovanni's. And then on the last night of the cruise, I did Hooked. And this is a restaurant I used to slam on all the time. He'd say, guys, worst restaurant in the fleet, don't waste your time. No, it's not bad, actually. And I don't even eat shellfish. I went in there and I had the filet, which was fantastic. I think I ordered blackened salmon, but it didn't come out very blackened at all. So I'm not sure if you misheard me, but it was still good. I mean, it was really fresh. It was great. And the brownie dessert is fantastic. So again, 3-night dining package, I think for an Icon class ship is the perfect balance. It's definitely worth it. Not worth it, and this kind of piggybacks, this is going to piggyback into the worth it. So not worth it, worth it. Okay. The not worth it, even though it was free, the Marseille shuttle. So our ship got rerouted. We skipped Naples and went to Marseille in France, which honestly, I mean, I would have liked to go to Naples because the pizza was supposed to be amazing there, and I missed out on that. But Marseille, I mean, I love France. I can speak French semi-fluently, so I'm pretty happy with that. It's like a personal challenge. I enjoy that. So I was like, yay, France, cool. So Royal Caribbean provided a free shuttle take you from the ship to the city center, or near the city center anyway. Great. Took it going there in the morning. No problems at all. Coming back, I got back to the shuttle area about 2 o'clock, and I believe all aboard was 4:45. The line for that shuttle bus was, I mean, it went on and on. At first I thought it was 2 different lines for different buses, and I realized no, it's the same line for it's just one ginormous line. And you have to remember, it was so hot, there was no shade, and I bolted on. I was just like, nope, this is not gonna. So it was not worth it for me to wait. I talked to somebody who did wait in the line. I think they ended up waiting about half an hour, and then worse on top of it, when they got on the shuttle bus, number one, when the bus pulled up, a lot of people just started to cut the line and tried to cram into it, which was a problem in and of itself. But there was no air conditioning on the bus, which made my decision a lot better not to wait for it, because the worth it was Uber. So that's not a hard and fast rule, but my new general rule is, and this is something to think about, when you're in Europe and you're trying to get from point A to point B, whether it's back to your cruise ship or simply from this point you're at to another point, if an Uber costs less than 20 euros, I say it's worth it. In the case of the shuttle bus, when I got to the very end of the line, standing in direct sunlight, sweating profusely because I'd been walking, number one. Number two, now I'm just standing around in the sun, and I'm sweating, and I'm like, okay, pull up my phone, look at Uber. To get back to the cruise ship terminal, it was like 20 something euro. You know what? I was like, well, I'm tired. I'm hot. I just, the thought of standing there for 30 minutes, I'd rather throw money at the problem. So I ordered the Uber. And the great thing about it was they gave you the option. I'm not sure if they do this every single ride, but it gives you two options when you request your ride. Do you want the conversation level? Do you want your driver to talk to you or not? And the temperature. And for the temperature, there is cool and colder. And I chose colder. And I got a Tesla. And this Tesla pulled up, and my goodness, it felt like the Costco freezer. It was so good. It was the best 20 something euros I spent on the entire cruise. Sometimes it is worth it to spend just a little bit more to have that luxury. I mean, did I need to? No. Could I have been fine on the shuttle? Of course. But sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, it's worth spending a little bit more money. And then lastly, not worth it, those paper luggage tags. So I've shared this story also in our video, but I want to reiterate this. It's like not worth it because it would have been worth it if I had actually brought my $10 luggage tag holders. I'd forgotten them. And not only did I forget them, but I really thought it'd be fine without it. What I should have done was just, if I forgot them, I should have just given to the porters and they could have attached one for me. But I thought I was being smart and I would print out my luggage tags at the hotel and then staple it to my bag, which technically is what Royal Caribbean says you're supposed to do, right? If you read the instructions, that's exactly what it says. The reality is one of them ripped off my bag and they lost my luggage for a couple of hours on the first day of the cruise. Now you can also say, so the paper luggage tag is not worth it, but worth it definitely. Invest in those paper luggage tag holders, which I do have, and I need to remember to bring on every single sailing and not forget them. And also things like air tags and just having an old school luggage tag on your bag, like one that has your name outside of it, name, your phone number, your address. There's no doubt in my mind I got my luggage the same night because I had a luggage tag on my bag with my name on it so that they can match it up to me, and they were able to send it back up to my room. I mean, it took a couple hours later, but as opposed to if it didn't have one, it would have been in lost and found, and it would have been on me to go down to guest relations at some point to go claim it, basically. So there you go. Things that I paid for primarily that were either worth it or not worth it on Legend of the Seas. All right, friends, time for listener emails, part of the episode where I answer the emails you've sent me. You can always email me your questions to be answered eventually by sending to Matt, M-A-T-T, at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. First email is from Alex from Alabama. Dear Matt, love the show. I'm a huge Mamma Mia fan. I'm thinking possibly to go on Allure of the Seas next. Is the show like a standard cruise ship production where it's like an hour or less, or is it the full thing? It's the full thing. I believe it might be. There's no wait, is there an intermission? I think there is an intermission. I remember it. Yeah, it's a full thing. So yeah, it's a full show. Alex also adds, heading to Burlington this season in October. I've not planned anything in Chan. I hope I said that right. It's in Crete, I believe. Do you have any suggestions for that day? Also, we have the key. How does the priority tendering work? All my tours are private, so not with Royal Caribbean. I'm Diamond Plus, if that makes a difference. Thanks. So I've not been to that particular port in Greece. Generally speaking, I think a day at the beach is probably always a good idea. You're going in October, so it'll be a little chillier. If you're going in, obviously, July or August, definitely want to go to the beach. It's super, super hot. But, for a lot of people, I think it's a combination of seeing the downtown area and then heading to the beach of some kind. But I've not been there. Maybe the message boards at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com can suggest something for you. For the key, when you have priority tendering, basically, there should be a line for you. You should look for it. When you get to the tendering area, ask them, just like, hey, I have the key. And they should direct you to a special line or a special tender, however it's going to work. It kind of depends on the ship, and that should help you with there. Your Diamond Plus probably won't help you. I believe it's only Pinnacle that might get more priority in that situation. So, yeah, there you go. Next email is from Hannah. Huge fan of your podcast. Listen on Spotify for most of my commutes to work. Thank you so much for all you and your team do to keep us informed. I have a question about the early assign program for guaranteed bookings. Myself and my husband are booked on Anthem of the Seas, last Alaska run of the 2020 season. In late September, we have a guaranteed ocean view balcony room. Royal Caribbean said that we're not eligible for the early assign program. I was wondering if you know the eligibility criteria for those who the early assign program is offered and to why. Thanks, trying to figure this out. So early assign is a new option by Royal Caribbean that basically allows you, if you book a guaranteed cabin, to pay a little bit more and get access to your actual room assignment. Basically pay $30. And then within 24 hours, Royal Caribbean will actually say, okay, this is your room. Now, here's why it's not available for you yet. because you're not close enough to the sailing. For cruises that are 6 nights or longer, which is you, early assign should be available 50 to 80 days before the sailing. So I'm guessing maybe you're too far out and you should try again once you get within 50 days. I'm not sure if it begins exactly at 80, but I'm going to guess based on when you sent me you sent me not so long ago, Hannah, that would be the situation, I assume, because you're going in late September. All right, so let's assume late August, 30. Yeah, I mean, you may have just missed it by a day or two, Hannah. You sent me the email. So I would try again in about a week or two, and hopefully that'll do that. That's the threshold for that. Next email is from Kevin and Kelly. Love the blog. Thanks for all the content. My wife and I love it and have become avid Royal Cruisers. Upon your recommendation, we experienced Lincoln Park Supper Club last night. As avid foodies, we both thought it was one of the best culinary experiences ever. Thanks. I got to tell you, first of all, I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's the most important thing, Kevin and Kelly. Thanks for the email. And I really think the Supper Club is a vastly underrated experience. Not like Chef's Table. Chef's Table, I've done 3 or 4 times. I think it's nice, but it's tired and it's not impressive. I mean, it's good, but like, I never really thought I need to go back to it. I think Lincoln Park, I think all the supper clubs solve that problem with a combination of really high-end food, great entertainment, and of course the cocktail pairings. I think cocktails are more popular than wine, generally speaking, and I think it's just a better fit. And so that's why I think it's a good idea overall in terms of, how that all works. So yeah, I'm really glad to hear you had an awesome time on that. Next email is from Ben. Hi, Matt. Love everything you do and all the good info you put out there. My wife and I have been sailing Royal Caribbean for quite a few years, but our next cruise on Liberty, November 19th, has me questioning if I made a good booking choice. We convinced her side of the family to come with us. We will be a party of 9. We booked 4 cabins. 3 of them have 2 people in them, and 1 cabin has 3 people in it. We did this way because 3 of them are casino comps and all interior guaranteed. That's fine because we really only plan on sleeping there and we're budget minded. However, in reality, we are 2 families of 4 plus 1 grandparent, and all the children are 10 and under. I don't think the kids are old enough to sleep alone. How likely is that they end up giving us at least 2 rooms that can accommodate 4 guests? And is there any way to make that more likely? What would you do in this situation? I would say there's 0% chance. There is like a 2% chance. They're going to give you, you're getting inside, you have guarantees. They're going to give you the cheapest possible room out there. I mean, it's possible, but I would say it's pretty low. I understand what you're trying to do, because you're trying to be like, make it so that, okay, your book, it doesn't matter how you book it, like in the sense of like who's on what cabin on paper, but in the end of the day, you want to have the families, like, the families sleeping with families, within the same room and not spread out. The problem is you're gambling here, pun intended, with the cabins. This is the downside to doing this particular strategy. Now, this would have worked if you booked, not done guarantees. Okay, I want to have this cabin, that cabin, and this number, and then worked it out that way. But I mean, you're gonna have to be okay with getting exactly what you booked. 3 cabins that can accommodate 2 people, and 1 cabin. The 1 cabin that can accommodate 3 will be a quad, probably. Did you say what ship you were on? Oh, Liberty. There are cabins that can accommodate just 3 people, but I'd be willing to bet you'd probably get that one that can accommodate 4 people. But Ben, basically what I'm trying to do is not sugarcoat it. I think there's a pretty good chance you're going to end up with the cabins that you actually booked, like the configuration in terms of the sleeping arrangements. It's just this is the risk you take with that kind of a situation. And again, you pay nothing for it, but, and one other thing you could do, by the way, one other thing to consider, I should mention this. So you get your cabin assignments. Okay, let's say you hate them. One thing you could do is call Royal Caribbean, call the casino up and be like, all right, I got these cabins. Can I pay more to upgrade them to a different room? Might not be available, but it's worth at least giving it a try. Next email is from Jason. Hi, Matt. My wife, myself, my kids are currently Diamond Plus with 235 points. If we were to keep sailing with Royal Caribbean when we got to Pinnacle, would our kids also be Pinnacle before they turn 18? Would they also be Pinnacle after they turn 18? And that answer to that is no to both questions. So, as parents, if you move up from Diamond Plus, your kids inherit your status until they're 18. Okay, we knew that. Pinnacle, they have to earn on their own. So as an example, I'm Pinnacle. My wife is Pinnacle because of me, but my kids are still Diamond Plus, and they will be they'll remain there until they earn Pinnacle on their own, which, by the way, my oldest daughter has like 560 points or so. So she'll get there before she turns 18. But it's just not going to happen for a little bit. That being said, there are certain perks, like the Wi-Fi benefits there are a couple perks that, like, even though my kids are Diamond Plus, because their parents, me, are Pinnacle, they get our benefits, equivalent benefits. Like, as an example, the internet package. As Pinnacle, we get a free day of internet. In the case of the kids, even though they're Diamond Plus, they get a full one device package as well per sailing for them, which is great. Access to Coastal Kitchen is another one. So there are a few things that still transfer over, but no, kids do not inherit Pinnacle status. They must earn that on their own. Next email is from Gary. Hey Matt, my wife and I will be on Odyssey this season over Thanksgiving. We have the deluxe drink package. I saw Giovanni says a wine and cheese pairing menu for a small fee. Does the price for that change because of our drink package? For example, one of the pairings is 3 wines, 3 cheeses for $20. Will we pay that full $20? Thank you for all your wonderful insight. And the answer is no, it won't change. When you do the drink package, even though there are maybe other opportunities that have alcohol, it's not included there. Experiences aren't included. You would pay the standard fee, whether or not you have a drink package or not for that one. The drink package only covers obviously drinks you order individually, not experiences or things of that nature. As an example, Gary, the supper club, which is not on your ship, but if you were on an Icon class ship that has cocktails, you don't get a discount because you have the drink package there. So there you go. And our last question today is from Clay. Hey Matt, always enjoy your posts. Quick question. My friend and I are Diamond Plus, and we used to get BOGO for Chops Grill if we booked it on the first night. Do you know if Royal Caribbean is still offering that? And if so, how do we go about booking it? I just booked Chops on the first night. Do we go to Chops when we board and line it up? Thanks in advance. And the answer is yes. So they still offer the BOGO option for Diamond Plus, and it's exactly what you say. You can't pre-book it. Basically, you get on board the ship, and you go to the restaurant and say, hey, I am a Diamond Plus member. I would like to use my BOGO offer and make a reservation at that point. So if you booked it ahead of time already, like you made a reservation, you paid for it, that should work. What should happen, theoretically, and I can't, but I would be shocked if it wasn't the case, Clay. When you get to the restaurant, tell them, hey, I made a reservation for one, but it's really going to be using the BOGO and blah, blah, blah. Here's my second person. Can we make that? Because reality is, if you book a table for one, there are no tables for one. Every table for one is really a table for two, right? So that shouldn't really matter, and I highly expect them to accept that for that. But in general, for the BOGO option that you get for Diamond Plus, which is where, by the way, if you don't know this, I should have mentioned this earlier. When you get to Diamond Plus, you get a buy one, get one free admissions. You pay for one admission, second person's free, and it's per person. So you one night you go to Chops and, person A uses their BOGO to pay for person B. You're still paying for the first person, but the second person's free. And then on another night, the second person could use their BOGO and so forth. And the rule technically is you have to use that BOGO option on night 1 or 2 of the cruise. I say technically, in my experience, either if you go there on night 1 and I say, hey, can I book this for night 4? They usually say yes. That's more of a your mileage may vary. And in some cases, you might even roll in on day 6, like, hey, I forgot to use it. Can I still use it? They may need the business and they'll take it. But anyway, it's only something you can redeem on board the ship. So there you go. There's all our time for our questions this week. Don't forget, you can always email me your questions, matt@royalcaribbeanblog.com. So next time, I'm Matt. We'll talk again real soon.